It's pretty natural to assume that the world's richest people are also its biggest givers. I mean, it just makes sense, right? But what if the data tells a totally different story? Today, we're going to dig right into the numbers and explore this fascinating and honestly kind of complex paradox of billionaire philanthropy. All right, let's jump straight in because the numbers here show a real paradox that we've got to talk about. It's a trend that some people are calling the giving gap, and it really highlights this growing disconnect between having immense wealth and, well, giving it away. So, first, let's just talk about the money itself. The combined fortune of the top philanthropists in the US, it just shot up by a whopping 18.5%. But as you're about to see, more wealth doesn't automatically equal more giving. And here is where it gets interesting. Even as their fortunes ballooned, their total lifetime giving, as a slice of that huge pie, actually dropped. It fell to just 15%. That is the lowest percentage ever recorded since people started tracking this stuff. And that, right there, is what we're calling the giving gap. It's this growing chasm between how incredibly fast these fortunes are expanding and the relatively small percentage that's actually being donated. It really makes you think about what philanthropy even means in this day and age. Okay, so let's get into the specifics. Let's see how this plays out with the people at the very, very top of the wealth pyramid. We're going to take a look at the 10 richest people on the planet and what their philanthropic track records look like. And you have to start at the absolute top with Elon Musk. His fortune is, well, it's in a league of its own, which makes his approach to giving a really central part of this whole story. So at the time of this analysis, his estimated net worth was a number that's almost hard to wrap your head around, $817 billion. Just to give you some perspective, that's bigger than the GDP of a lot of countries. Now hold that massive number in your head and compare it to his estimated lifetime giving. It adds up to less than 1%, 0.9% to be exact. That one number, it's really at the heart of this entire giving gap conversation. And as you can see right here, he's not really an outlier. When you look across the top 10 wealthiest people, you see a pretty consistent pattern. The percentage of their lifetime giving compared to their current net worth is almost always in the low single digits. I mean, look at Jensen Huang. His is even below 0.1%. But is this the only way it has to be? I mean, is giving away a tiny fraction of your wealth the standard playbook for every billionaire? Nope, not at all. There are some other huge names in philanthropy who have taken a completely different approach. And this is where the contrast is just wow. It's incredibly stark. On one side, you have the current top 10, where most have given away less than 3% of their wealth. But then on the other side, you have people like Warren Buffett, who's given away 32%, and George Soros, who has donated an incredible 76% of his wealth. It just goes to show you there are fundamentally different philosophies at work here. Okay, so beyond just the raw numbers, there's another really fascinating shift happening. We're seeing this new model of philanthropy pop up, especially from the tech world. It focuses less on what you might call traditional charity and more on these massive tech-driven solutions. This quote from Mark Zuckerberg and Priscilla Chan, it just perfectly captures that mindset. It's not about treating symptoms, it's about using technology to go after the root problem. And the goal is incredibly ambitious, to basically end all disease. And this tech-first approach shows up in a few different ways. For Zuckerberg and Chan, it means pouring money into AI to literally decode biology. For Bill Gates, it means not just pledging 99% of his fortune, but actually putting a timer on his foundation. The Gates Foundation is set up to spend all of its money and just shut down by 2045. It's designed to create a real sense of urgency and focus. So when you boil it all down, we're really seeing two big things happening at once. We've got this widening gap between how much wealth is being created and how much is being donated, and at the exact same time, we're seeing this radical new way of thinking about how that wealth should be used. All of this brings us to a really profound question. As these private fortunes grow to a scale that's bigger than the economies of entire nations, how do we even measure generosity anymore? Is it the raw dollar amount given? Is it the percentage of wealth donated? Or is it about the ambitious, world-changing nature of the problems you're trying to solve? There's really no easy answer, and figuring it out is going to define the entire next chapter of philanthropy.